Hello and welcome to the 4Corners podcast. I'm Brad, joined by Matt this week. Shad is out this week for personal reasons. He should be back next week. So, wasn't really much wrestling stuff to talk about. So, we're going to be discussing some more horror movies and some of the more recent ones we've seen lately. Um, and I guess we can start off, but how are you doing this evening, Matt?
It's cold. We were just talking. It's
Yeah.
it's cold. It's already cold and it's December. It's not even quite mid-December and it's already cold where I am. And I don't even live in a particularly cold climate. DC's actually moderate. It's like very moderate. It gets cold in the winter, but not too cold. It gets hot in the summer, but not too hot. It's the whole mid-Atlantic thing. But we had snow on Friday, so I'm kind of you were just saying like you're already over the cold. It's like yeah, I'm I like it when it's chilly. Like I don't need like the heat, the actual heat waves of the summer. I don't need all that. I like when I can wear like a hoodie or like a light jacket, something like I like layering, but I don't want where it's like I got to wear gloves because my hands are going to freeze into little ice blocks if I step outside for like five
Yeah.
minutes. Like that I don't like. Yeah, and my wife and I actually Saturday night we did like this like Christmas thing. It was outdoors with our daughters, and it was like after 10 minutes, I'm like, can I find some place to go inside
Yeah.
where it's warm? Can I get like a hot chocolate that at least like I can hold in my hands? It's
I'm
but
good till
otherwise I'm good.
I'm good till like 30 degrees. Once it starts going under 30s when I start hating my life.
Yeah.
So anyway, actually I saw a good bit of newer horror movies this year, but I guess the one we can talk about first is we both I think have seen Nosferatu within the last calendar year.
Yes, I think it came out like end of last year. So
Yeah.
technically it's a 2024 movie. My
It was
I think
like
I've
I think
mentioned this
it was like
before
a
when we
Christmas time movie last year. I don't
It
quite
it
remember.
came out late. I don't know if it was exactly Christmas, but it did come out late. So if it didn't come out after Christmas, it probably was around then. Maybe it was like a Thanksgiving. I don't know. I'd have to look it up. But I think I've mentioned when we've talked about horror movies before. Like my wife hates horror movies, but she'll get into watching them around October because of Halloween. And we have this thing where we try to do like 8 movies, like 4 each,
Mhm.
and over the course of the month, which isn't that bad. Like that's like 2 a week roughly, except that our lives are crazy with 2 small kids. So it's like
Yeah.
it's actually a struggle
You have to
because
you
especially
have
like
to
when
survive
yeah,
to the end of the night and stay awake long enough to watch a
oh
movie.
yeah, and like the last couple of years we've done it, we've made the effort to pick some movies that it's like oh. Uh, but it's only a 90-minute movie, so we can start watching
Yeah.
that at like 10 o'clock at night. Because otherwise, with 2 small kids, you start a movie. I don't want to say that's because I'm getting old. It's my small children making me perpetually tired. But if we watch nowadays, it's like I can start a 90-minute movie at like 10. Yeah, okay. But if it's like a 2.5 hour movie,
Yeah.
which Nosferatu is a long movie, it's like 2.5. I'm not starting that on like a Wednesday night at 10 o'clock. That's gonna be a Friday or Saturday night movie when I don't have to get up at like 6 in the morning the next day. But yeah, we chose that. We actually watched that one. We actually watched that one and the original one this
I
October for as part of our
I
Halloween
think
movies.
I liked the new one. I still think the original one's better.
So I like I've seen the original one like many times before, so this wasn't the first time I saw it.
If you watch
But
the
there was
Joe Bob Briggs drive-in that had it, they had a timing corrected version of it, so it actually doesn't have
mm,
that weird old-timey like quickness to it,
hmm
and they had restored it a lot, so
there are
that's
some
like the best version of it. I don't know where else. I think the time corrected version is a little more out there than it was now, but that's I think the way to go because you don't get that weird. Like I said, like I would say it's like 1.5 speed that like a lot of those old timey movies have.
yeah. I don't know if this was the time corrected one. I even we watched it on one of the streaming platforms, but I think I may have like rented it or bought it or something. Because it it was on like I think maybe Amazon Prime or something
Mm-hmm.
like that. But it was like, oh, pretty sure we watched it there. I don't know if it was not we watched it on Tubi. I thought we watched something on Tubi like for free because it's like I don't want to pay for
It's
this,
public.
but I don't know that it's
It's
that.
public domain now because well, it has an interesting it has a very interesting story to it because
Hmm,
so it's obviously Dracula without the license if you've seen it. Like they just changed the names and stuff, but it's Dracula. So I guess when it came out,
yeah.
the widow freaked out because she didn't die until like the late 30s, maybe the early 40s. I'd have to look,
Hmm,
but she freaked out and went to court and sued him, and they were supposed to destroy every copy of it as part of the settlement, which they did in Europe.
hmm.
So in Europe, it didn't exist, but they sent it over to the United States, and we were just like, "Man, fuck you. We're not doing
Yeah.
anything with it." So that's how it
Not
survived
our
all.
laws.
Yeah.
Like,
So
not our
that's
copyright
so
laws.
that's how it survived. And then she died, and everyone's just like, "Ah, let's go get those American copies and translate them back." And then that's how it survived. It's interesting too, because you learn a lot if you don't know who Joe Bob Briggs is, he's been off and on TV like forever. Like I think he hosted TNT's Monster Vision back in the day, and he did like some
He
AMC
did.
stuff in the 80s. But you always learn like interesting things, like how because it's on his show's on Shutter right now, and they have one with Night of the Living Dead, and I think Sven Gulli sits with him on that one.
Mm.
But you kind of
Oh
find
wow.
out about that movie and how it's public domain, but how that probably helped the Living Dead series by it being so easily accessible.
Oh, Night of the Living Dead must be on like in public domain for a long time because I remember.
It never had a copyright. So I don't
Oh
remember the
wow,
exact
really?
reason it doesn't have a copyright, but it doesn't.
Wow, I didn't know that because I remember back in the day, like I don't know why I was like in a Dollar Tree or something, but it's like I remember buying like a DVD copy of Night of the Living Dead at like a dollar store for like $1, and I'm like,
Well, you get
I'll buy
like
it for $1. Like, sure, why not?
if you remember back in the day, Walmart had those like big 50 packs of like
Oh
public
yeah,
domain movies you could get for like 20 bucks, and if you got a horror pack, it was usually in there.
I think I have one of those. I don't know if it's horror. It might be horror.
I think I have a horror
But
and
yeah, it's
sci-fi
like
one.
I have something because it's I don't know if it's 50, but it's like it's at least like a couple dozen, and it's
Yeah,
old stuff, like really old stuff, like
really
Roger
bad
Corman, like The
transfers.
Crawling
Yeah,
Eye or something. Yeah, it's like some of it's most of it's like not good movies, but I think some of
there's
it
some
there's like a
gems
couple.
in there like the one I had
Yeah,
has like one of Alfred Hitchcock's like first movies in it. Um, it has Night of the Living Dead in there. I think it has The Last Man with Vincent Price, which is a pretty good rendition of I Am
yeah,
Legend.
yeah. That's the thing. Like some of the movies, it's like it's not. There's a lot of crap, and then you get like here's an old Boris Karloff like movie that's like crazy atmospheric and actually pretty good, or you get like Vincent Price or something.
Or you get this weird
You get
like
like an old
proto
Peter Cushing
slash
movie.
or like this weird like proto slasher movie from like the early 70s. Like, oh, that wasn't bad.
Mhm.
But yeah, so I thought I still like the original better. There's also is that from the early I think there's one from like 2002, I think Shadow the Vampire, which is like more about like the movie, and then like that like it's like about the movie, but the guy that played Count Orloff was like a legitimate vampire. I think that's from
Yeah,
2002.
it. I know what you're talking about. I don't. You're close to the year if
Is
that's not
William
the
Defoe
year.
in, I think William Defoe's in that too.
Willem Dafoe is the vampire. He's
Okay.
Orlok, and I think John Malkovich is the director.
Yeah, that sounds
And
right.
yeah, it's kind of like a. I think it's like a. I think it's supposed to be more like a black comedy, but like Orlok, it. The thing is like John Malkovich. It's him making Nosferatu,
Yeah.
and
It's very
Max
meta.
Schreck. Yeah, Max Schreck is like he's oh I'm playing the vampire Count Orlok, but the gimmick is that he's actually a real vampire. Like John Malkovich got a real vampire, real Nosferatu to actually
Yeah.
portray and do the film. And then it kind of goes awry because Willem Dafoe as Count Orlok just starts like legit killing people, like in eating them. But uh, Yeah, that actually got a lot of like obviously critical acclaim back in the day.
It's not a
I
bad
think it's one of
movie.
those like it wasn't yeah, it's a pretty decent movie. It wasn't one of those movies that it made like $200 million at the box office, but it was one of those that's like it's known because it has big name actors and
And
it's
I think
critically
it's
acclaimed.
it's become like a cult classic thing.
Hmm.
Um,
I know that they redid Nosferatu in I think 78, 79, and that was
yeah,
done by Klaus Kinski.
I don't know if I've seen that one.
I saw it a long time ago, like many, many years ago. I don't really remember much about it except I didn't really like it. I felt it had a really disturbing, like dark ending, which I'll spoil it because I
Yeah.
mean it's like a 40-plus-year-old film. But basically, the Jonathan Harker type character, like the main protagonist, like Nosferatu dies, but it's kind of implied that he passed on the curse of being a vampire to like the Jonathan Harker type. And last thing
Mm-hmm.
you see is like he basically he looks like Count Orlok. He has the same like deathly pale
Mm-hmm.
skin, bald, rat-like features, and then he escapes and runs off. So it's like the curse will continue with the new vampire. But it was
Speaking of
weird. It's a really weird movie.
speaking of William Defoe, I finally watched The Lighthouse with him and Robert Pattinson.
Hmm.
I thought that was pretty solid as a movie. It was really weird, but
I
I thought it was worth a watch.
I haven't seen that yet. I've heard it's pretty good. I read a clip or something. I read something recently where they tried to get like real weird and like uh one of them did. Maybe it was Robert Pattinson tried to be all like character actor something like that. But there was like I guess there was a day or two of filming where they just didn't talk to each other. Like they're filming maybe I haven't seen the film so I don't know if there's like a lot of dialogue. But I guess
There's
there
some,
was a
yeah.
day or so there was a day or so where there wasn't, I guess, whatever scenes they were filming, there wasn't a lot of dialogue, whatever. And afterwards, like they had some sort of conversation where it's like, why weren't you talking during like this all day, like just said? And I think Willem Dafoe was like, what? I thought you were like being an asshole to me. Like, why aren't you saying anything? And he's like, oh no, I didn't know. Like, I thought we were just doing character acting in the moment. And Willem Dafoe, I think, was like, no, like screw you. Like it's I guess like a funny little anecdote. At least it was to me. Willem Dafoe, I think, is probably like he seems like a super weird guy, but I bet
He seems like he might
well,
be
he's in
pain.
this. He's in Nosferatu,
Yeah, he
but
seems like he might be painfully normal too.
I think he's probably way more normal than you think he is. But he also seems like he's probably like a little weird, but probably has really good stories from being in Hollywood for like 40-plus years.
Yeah, because well, I don't know. Actors are just weird. 'Cause, like Mel Gibson's just like a psycho. Because you'll see like random videos of he's just fixing some guy's tire on the side of the road, and I don't
He's
know.
a weird guy.
Yeah, he is.
He's obviously been canceled probably a couple times now. Um, I'll say it's somewhat unfortunate in the sense that he's actually a really talented. I'll
That's
say
what.
he's more of a talented director even than an actor. Like
Oh,
he actually has made some really like
that
good films.
western he made is fucking great. Hacksaw Ridge, I think is one the western he
Is
did.
that the one that's World War? Which one am I thinking of? That's a World War II in? Is that not Hacksaw Ridge?
Oh, let me look. I think Hacksaw Ridge was a western. There's so many of those
Uh,
now.
now I got to look that up.
I'm looking it up right now. So, what did you think of like the new Nosferatu?
Uh, hold on. No, Hacksaw Ridge is like a
Yeah, it's a World War
World
II
War II
movie.
one,
I was thinking
and
of
it's like it's set in like the war in the Pacific. I think that I
yeah.
seen that. That actually is a really good film. Um, I liked I liked the new Nosferatu. I actually wound up liking it a lot. It's very long. I think my wife is like, "This doesn't need to be this long," and I kind of agree with her.
Yeah, because there was. I know they were going for like atmosphere, but like there's a little bloat in places, I think. And I have to
Or
say,
what?
like, for the ending they give you in that, it was too long.
I mean, the ending is kind of it is faithful to like the original in that it's not going to be a happy ending for our heroine. Like she
Yeah.
dies stopping Nosferatu, but it could have been trimmed up a little. I don't. It's like a 2.5 hour film or close to it. It doesn't need to be that long. I'm not saying it needs to be like 70 minutes or whatever the original is. The
No, but
original
it could
one's like
have.
short.
The original one's like maybe 65 minutes, but I think that oh crap, I was gonna say it could be like an hour and 45. I think maybe even 2 hours. It just
At least maybe 2 hours. They could have trimmed some stuff up. And I understand that they did some character building and that some of the other characters, like Aaron Taylor Johnson, who I think he's a favorite of who's the guy who directed this?
oh
He did The Witch.
I don't know. The witch is creepy as shit. By the way,
I tell people who haven't seen it that The Witch is genuinely. I think there's very few films out there that actually scare me, that I think are scary. But The Witch is genuinely, of the last like 15, 20 years, it's generally to me like a very disturbing film. It's like
see,
it they
what I tell
it's
people
definitely disturbing.
what I tell people for me is like I don't think the events in The Witch like scare me so much. It's the setting and the atmosphere and like
Yeah.
how just like remote and like alone it is what I think is
Hmm.
more creepy about The Witch than like anything else. Like it really makes
Yeah.
you I think it really captures what probably living in that time period felt like. And you kind of when you kind of watch that movie, I was kind of like, "Oh, I see why people like lost their minds and the Salem witch trials happened. This is like creepy as shit."
Hmm.
Like of course like
Oh yeah. My wife and I have a inside joke because whenever it's like either the spring when it's like spring festivals or it's like fall with pumpkin festivals, like we take our kids like to a zoo, not a zoo, like a farm, like a pumpkin festival, something like that. And they have like invariably these will always have like goats.
yeah.
And if there's a black goat, I'll go up to my wife and I'll in a voice just like the children in The Witch, I'll be like, Black Phillip, and she's like, stop, like, I,
You know, it's
dost thou want to
it,
live deliciously?
it was funny. I watched that a couple years ago because I was on a movie binge and I rewatched Misery for the first time in forever, which Kathy Bates
Mm,
is really good in that. But I went to that I'm like, oh, like you're just remembering like how bad can the ankle breaking scene actually be? It's not going to be as bad as you think. And then it came around like, no, it was actually as bad as I remembered, probably worse. I'd probably
yeah,
diminished it a little bit, so I was like, oh yeah, that was just as bad. Um, yay. That's a good movie though. If you
it,
haven't seen
it
Misery,
Kathy.
Kathy Bates is like the way Kathy Bates and that goes from like this kind of groveling woman to like absolute psychopath on a dime is just insane.
She did a fantastic job. I think she won an Oscar for that, right?
I think she
Which
if she didn't it was a crime.
I'm pretty sure she did, which it was deserved. If she didn't win it somehow, then it was deserved. She could have won it. She should have won it. But I think she did win it because I think that was like I'll say her claim to fame, but like that's what propelled her to superstardom. Superstardom. But I mean, I feel like to me, like I don't know that she was that well known before, but then
I'd
Misery came
have to
out and I think
look.
she like won the
Yeah.
Oscar. And I think since then she's been obviously they by the way, this is like a weird sidebar. You remember the old show Matlock with Andy Griffith?
Yeah, she's doing like she's not
They
it's not
remade it.
no, it's not a remake. She's not she
Oh, okay.
goes by Matlock, but like it's a very different show. Like cuz like she's involved like with I think like prosecuting drugs or something like that, but it's not a remake.
I looked at the premise. She used to be, I think, like a prosecutor or defense attorney, something like that. And then her daughter dies of a
Mhm.
drug overdose. So that causes her to like join this law firm. And yeah, she's like helping to put like drug offenders away. And I think you're right. I think it's not like a remake. I think it's like a weird meta thing where it's like the show existed in this universe and she liked the show. So
Yeah.
she took on the name of Matlock as like, because for some reason, I think like she joined this law firm, but she did it like, I'm not gonna say a disguise because she's not wearing like a wig or something like, but she's doing it like under an alias because I think she's like, oh, you're a well-known prosecutor, you were a well-known like defense attorney, so I'm not going to hire you. It was something weird like that. I think it's a weird premise, but
Yeah.
it's meta in that it exists and she like adopted. It's like it's like if I started it, like I'm doing a show, and in the show I'm a character and I start a detective agency, and I'm like I'm gonna call myself Sherlock Holmes, and it's like because I'm a big fan of Sherlock Holmes or some bullshit like that. It's
Yeah.
like I'm not actually Sherlock Holmes. I'm just that's the gimmick that I'm just naming myself at. It's like
Yeah.
it's weird, but
I'm gonna open my own
um,
coroner service and call it myself Quincy.
mm,
Yeah, she was in that
it
she was
was
in
murder, Sam.
she was that Jack Klugman? Yeah, that was Jack Klugman.
It was Jack Klugman. Yeah.
I rewatched Alfred Hitchcock and Twilight Zone this year, so I've seen him in a bunch of like oddball things. She was also in that misery porn movie with Jack Nicholson, the about Schmidt.
Uh,
Ugh, what an awful movie. I mean, it's a good movie, but that's a little too depressing. It's a little too on the nose with the depressing for me.
I heard this is a very blue story, but about Jack. We're going like a segue, so this is what happens when Chad isn't around.
Yeah.
Like steer us. I heard a great. I mean, this isn't coming from him, but it's coming from someone who uh, I heard on Twitter, and this is like from a notable account. And he said that back in the day, maybe it was even before he was born, but like back in the day, like in the '80s, his mom used to date Jack Nicholson. And his story he tells is that his wife was like at Jack, his her mom. Sorry, I'm like digressing here. His mom was at Jack Nicholson's. They were just like hanging out, and I guess at the time Jack Nicholson was had like a female stalker, and he was going through the whole thing where like she'd send him letters, whatever like that. But suddenly like he like knew who this person was, not like he knew her, but he was like aware what she looked
He knew
like
her
whatever.
identity.
Yes. So like they're hanging out in his house, and all of a sudden the woman like shows up at his front door. And the story is that Jack Nicholson freaks out because he knows it's like, oh my god, it's my stalker. What the hell is she gonna like attack me, kill me, whatever? And so he goes to like this guy's mom, and it's like, oh my god, my stalker's here. Like, look, you gotta call the police. You gotta call some help. Go. And she like gets all freaked out. She like runs to the other room, like calling the police. She's on the police, like, yeah, oh my god, there's like his stalker. Like, you gotta send someone. Like, come on. And then so she like gets done with that, and she rushes out because things get real quiet. And so she rushes out, and the story is that she walks in, and like the woman has made herself inside the house, and she's on her knees and giving Jack Nicholson
Oh gosh.
oral pleasure. And the woman's like, "What the fuck, Jack? What are you doing?" And he's like, "Well, she offered me a blowjob, and I'm not gonna say no." And that was the end of their relationship. Like
You,
she broke up with him after that, as one would. But I'm like, I believe that story. I
yeah.
can absolutely believe that that's something Jack Nicholson did.
So there was so I made an interesting revelation. This is movie related, but so he was in The Terror with Boris Karloff for like early in his career, which everyone knew. But
Mm,
he's actually in a second movie with Boris Karloff. He's in I
mm,
think he's in The Raven. So I think it's like him, it's Boris Karloff and then Peter Lorre. Cuz it was one of those movies like there's a series of movies which I think they're worth watching. You probably saw other Brad and I had like a long conversation about them. So Roger Corman did like a bunch of the Edgar Allan Poe stories as movies in
mm.
the 60s with Vincent Price and Peter Lorre was in them. So like there's The Red Mask, which is good, The Raven, um there's quite a few that they did together. And Vincent Price and Peter Lorre did several movies together, which they're actually really good together. But yeah, so he did two movies with Boris Karloff, which I thought was interesting because I thought he only did one. Um,
He's been around. I just looked it up. He's 88. He's been around like a long time.
I think
Like
he's had roles
we
going
were,
back to the late 50s.
yeah, we reviewed The Shining on this show, and
He was
I
established
I looked it
already.
up at the yeah, oh yeah, at the time I looked it up like I think he was like in his 40s when that came out, maybe like or close to it. Like that's because Shining was what 81, I think. I think he was
Yeah,
already like in his
80,
40s.
81. Yeah.
Yeah, He'd been around like a while, like when that came out.
So
Anyway,
I thought,
Nosferatu.
yeah, well, I thought it was. Well, this is a movie talk. Nosferatu is just one we've both seen recently. I thought it was pretty
Mm.
good. I liked. I know you haven't seen it yet. I thought the Frankenstein that Netflix did, the Del Toro version, is a lot better than it. But it's. I just didn't like the ending. The way they. I just thought the ending of Nosferatu was a little too abrupt. Um.
It so there were some elements that I liked about it, and my wife and I watched this one first, and then we watched the original one. And there's some of these elements are actually they're a part of the first one. They're just more like subtle.
Hmm.
Um, it Nosferatu, like the story itself, like it is you're ripping off Dracula. It's
They did
Dracula. It's the story of
deviate.
Dracula.
They did deviate a little more here.
They deviated a little bit, but uh, one of the things that I liked, which is kind of subtly in the first one, it's more explicit in this one, is that I mean we're like now like so many decades into vampire lore type stuff where which is heavily influenced by Dracula, but it's it's like well vampires are like this, they act a certain way, like they look a certain way, they have these like weaknesses, like there's these tropes with vampires. And this one I did like how they basically really emphasized that one like he this isn't it isn't like the whole like plague metaphor of that sense. There's plague issues going on, but it's more like he carries the plague. He's like the harbinger of death
Yeah.
because he carries plague rats with him in these coffins, and they infect the city in Germany that he arrives in and kills like countless people. Which then after he Nosferatu dies, Count Orlok dies, uh the plague is like lifted, like but there's that, but they don't do it where like oh the vampirism itself
Yeah.
is like this plague. It's a disease that can easily be passed on. They did it where he was a sorcerer that basically made a deal with the devil, and his deal with the devil is that he would have eternal life in the sense that he would be undead. But he looks he if you look very closely to him at him, he's like a rotting corpse. He's a rotting
Yeah.
corpse. There's portions of him that are actually clearly necrotic flesh. He's like has big patches of decaying skin. Um, that I thought was interesting, and even from the very beginning, they portrayed him as a very like almost like a demonic entity, more even than like like a vampire, like a specific type of monster that we kind of know and well as a vampire, because how he links up with the girl with Lily Depp. I don't know, I forget her character's name, but she basically like almost like summons him kind of like in a ritual, not quite in a ritual, but the Renfield type in the film, he like summons him through like a demonic ritual. So there's like a whole weird demonic like devil worship type of thing here, which I thought was pretty cool. And I also liked when they eventually got to Orlok's castle. Um, they really did, I think, did a good job where it's like it's this like unnatural, almost like an eldritch location
Hmm.
that it's it has like weird angles, like things don't add up. Like it's clearly like nothing actual living is there. Even like going where it's like the coach that arrives, it's almost like it's an empty coach that's
I think it's
through
empty, and
magic or like will.
I think it's empty in the original.
No, in the original one, it's actually Count Orlok like in disguise as
Okay.
the carriage driver, and he drives it. And then when he gets to the castle, like the coach goes away, and like a minute later, Orlok appears. It's like you got here late. It's like you're just the carriage driver, asshole. But
And
uh,
the Renfield type, I can't remember his name in the original. He is possessed from the start. Like he has more of a long form role because he sends the Harker character there.
yeah, let me look this up. Knock was
Yeah.
the
I knew it was like a
was the
weird like one word name.
he's yeah, he's like the boss of Nicholas Holt's character, who, let me look it up.
He's a real estate
Nicholas,
agent essentially.
yeah, Thomas Hutter. Yeah, but he's not like, Century 21 real estate guy. He's like he's like a big, like a rich, like, real estate guy.
He's like
Like,
probably the guy in like the
yeah,
area.
but he is like, he's clearly made this, like, uh demonic pact with Count Orlok, and he's completely crazy. Like, and when he eventually gets, like, institutionalized
Hmm.
and escapes, but he escapes, like, in part by, like, he rips a dude's throat out with his teeth. Like, he's
Yeah.
incredibly, like, psychotically violent. Um, but I thought there was some interesting side. I like Ralph Ineson, who's obviously, like, Andrew Eggers is the director. He obviously, like, has guys that he likes working with. Um, Aaron Taylor Joy being one of them, Ralph Ineson, because Ralph Ineson was obviously one of the main actors in The Witch, and here he is. He plays Dr. Severs, who is treating, I guess, Ellen Hutter is Lily Rose Depp's character's name. He's treating her. I actually liked him in it. I thought that had, like, a bit of realism, because it starts off like, oh, she's having these, like, almost like epileptic
Yeah.
seizures. Let's treat her. But then it becomes clear it's like there's something else going on. So they bring
I think the
in
creepiest part of that
uh
of the interaction between the two women is when she wakes up and she's just being like eaten by rats next to her when she like wakes up.
oh yeah.
I was like, oh, I didn't expect to see that coming.
Hmm. Uh I thought it was good.
Yeah, it's
I like some of those elements, but I did think it could have been tightened up.
yeah, it could it's like it's I would give it like I'd give it like an 8 out of 10 if I was rating it. Um
That's fair.
yeah, it's a good movie. It has its problems, but like I think you wouldn't even as it's too long, I think it's fine. Like you don't feel bored. You just kind of come out and you're like, eh. It's kind of like a I think for me it was kind of like an after effect because it's like, they could have tightened that up in some spots.
Yeah, it's 132 minutes, so it's 2 hours and 12 minutes. I feel like it could have been like at least 15 minutes, probably more like 30 minutes less
Yeah.
than that. Like, and at least 15 minutes, 15 to 30. You could have tightened some stuff up and it would have been a little better. But I did like it. I thought it was
Yeah.
pretty good.
There's a now to go to the original, there's a certain creepiness to the Max Shrek version that's never quite been recaptured, I don't think.
I think partly, to me, partly is like it also starts like the design, because we're, again,
Is the design
I
and
don't
the
know.
I think the low technology I actually think helps with his creepiness.
Uh the design to me is like, because he looks clearly like monstrous in
Yeah.
the original one.
Like his
He has
hands,
it's Yeah, his
ears.
hands are long, like almost like claws. Like, his face is very pointed. He looks at the teeth are like, I've read that it's meant to evoke, like, he looks supposed to look more like rat-like, which kind of fits in
Yeah.
with the whole plague aspect.
Yeah.
Um,
He's very
versus like
iconic. Like
the
if you haven't seen it, you would know
yeah,
his design the second you saw it.
yeah. And if people, I'm sure there are people who've probably seen that depiction of a vampire or Nosferatu without knowing or even having remotely seen the film or even really understood what it was or heard about it. Like, they
Hmm.
probably have seen the imagery and have been like, "Ooh, that's creepy looking vampire," and it's like, what comes from that? Like, uh, what else? Damn, I had a thought about, because you're like, I think there was something else I wanted to talk about the original and how it held up, or
I think it
to the
holds
extent it
up.
became like iconic.
I think it holds up pretty well. There's some like, obviously it was made in like I don't remember the year it was made. It was made in like the mid 20s thereabouts.
Yeah,
So I mean,
there. Oh, no. uh,
go
Now there's something that I actually want to talk about with the new one, and this kind of goes like it should have been tightened up. it was interesting, but it's also like, did this need to be in there? Plus, like, what was that? Because Nicholas Hoult, the Thomas Hutter character, travels to Transylvania to go do the deal with Count Orlok, and he has to stop in this like Romanian or Transylvanian like city, and he gets like a hotel or lodging for the night, but then he kind of like goes out or sleepwalks or something to like where some of the villagers have dug up a corpse because it's a Nosferatu, it's a vampire. And at first I thought like, oh, is it going to be like Count Orlok? But it isn't. And yet they stake the Nosferatu, and it like jerks forward and like vomits blood or gore or something. And like the main like vampire hunter that like does that like looks at him, and then it's like the morning time the next day. It's like I'm sure that was part of like creating the atmosphere and maybe world building or show like, but it was also like, what the hell is this? Like there's another vampire, and
Could be a
there's like
victim.
that's a weird element to that part of the whole story, and it's like this is interesting, I guess. And it left me thinking after a while, like after the movie, I'm like, what the hell was that? So maybe
Foreshadowing.
that's maybe, but it's also like you probably could have cut that scene out and saved yourself like 5 minutes of screen time,
Yeah,
and I don't
I
know that
agree.
it would have really hurt the film.
No, I don't
But I
think
did like it
so.
overall.
You all know what
I did like it overall.
I mean, how many people went into Nosferatu and they didn't know what they were getting?
I mean, yeah, well, probably no one probably didn't realize at least it was like a vampire movie. Uh,
Yeah,
I'm sure there's lots of people who saw it that have never seen the original.
yeah.
Um,
Now, going kind of off into other things I've seen recently, so I finally saw Smile and Smile 2 this year. Have you seen either of those?
I have not. My wife and I wanted to watch those or at least one of them for
2 is
for
better
like our
than
past horror movies, but
2,
we have not seen those yet.
2 is better than 1 in my opinion.
Mm,
The protagonist is much more likable in 2. I
mhm.
saw oh, what was it called? The Final Destination that came out this year. I thought that was pretty good. Too much CGI.
I haven't seen that. I haven't seen like a Final Destination film in a while. Uh,
I think this is the
those are
first
actually
one in like a
kind of
decade.
fun.
Yeah, there's 3 and 4 suck, but 1, 2, 5, and I guess 6 now are pretty solid movies. Um, but it was good. My only complaint about it was they heavily relied on CGI, which just
Mm.
doesn't look right. Especially like when you're doing death stuff. I just don't like CGI. I've come to the conclusion I don't like CGI in my movies very much. I prefer practical
Mhm.
effects.
I haven't seen it yet, but I did see like a clip of the speech that the Tony Todd coroner character
Hmm.
gives, which
Yeah, they're not gonna. He's not gonna. He's yeah. They can't do any more
yeah,
with him, which is a sad.
yeah, I think I read something which is like I don't know if this is true, but it's like, oh, he like, not that he ad-libbed it, but it's like he gave us part. I guess part of the speech is that it's almost like it's him saying goodbye. Uh, and from what I understand, like his character, you see, it establishes why his character is so tied to the franchise, because I think he's very intimately tied
Yeah,
to the
he's in all
franchise.
the
He's not
movies.
just, yeah, he's in all the movies, but it's like there is a reason why he's very connected. You find that out in this film. I understand that much about the film, but for those who don't know, like the actor who played that character, Tony Todd, who was Candyman, he's in like a million voice
Star
things. He's
Trek.
been in like
He was
yeah,
Worf's.
ton of stuff.
Was he Worf's brother in Star Trek?
I don't know. He did play like the adult Jake Sisko in that one DS9 episode,
Oh, he was a Klingon, I think,
which
at some point too. I think
which I don't know if our friend Justin has gotten to that episode, but
he was.
that's we talked about that. That's one of the best episodes of
He
the
was
whole
in
series.
the Walking Dead remake from.
You mean the Night of the Living
Oh,
Dead
not
remake?
yeah. Sorry, wrong.
Yeah, yeah,
The
yeah,
Night of the Living Dead remake from 1990. He was he
yeah.
was the
He's
main
really good at
character.
that.
Yeah, I did
Yeah,
not. I still like the original over that. They did some things I didn't like with
yeah.
the remake.
Uh, great actor, but he passed away. He had, I think this year, right? Or
Yeah,
within
I
the
think he
last
looked
year.
pretty
Like
sick in Final Destination, if I remember
he
correctly.
he had cancer.
Yeah.
And he the clips I saw, like he looked very gaunt. So it's clear like he's either in treatment or the cancer had progressed.
I
I
just
feel like
saw him in
some
something else recently that I was surprised. I was like, I popped for him. What was it? Yeah, so it was pretty good. I mean, I went through and watched before it came out. I had watched all the first five because they were on Max up
mm,
until recently. I think they're still on there. Try to see if I could figure out what he was in recently. Might have just been his voice. Might have been a DC thing.
hmm,
Uh,
I have to
oh,
look this up now. He was a favorite of mine. I'm
was he
actually
in? Was he in? I see Tales from the Hood 3. Was he in the original Tales from the Hood?
uh,
That would have been like what 94.
well in '94 he was on The Crow.
Oh, that's what we saw. That's
Uh,
what I saw him in recently. Okay, yeah.
oh well, yeah, we we review that, and yeah, he was in The Crow.
No, I don't think
I
he was
mean the
in
guy had
Tales.
like a million
He's in
credits.
Babylon 5, the one of the Babylon 5 movies.
Yeah. Uh,
No, he was on Tales from the Hood.
uh, he did do some voice stuff, I guess, but
Yeah, he did Dark Side and some stuff.
yeah.
But yeah,
Great character actor. Uh, sad to see him pass away. He was a fan. I was a favorite. He was a. I loved anything he was in. It was always fun seeing him. Be like, oh, Tony Todd.
yeah. I haven't seen Candyman. Oh God, I haven't seen that in decades. I should go. I should put that on the list to go through.
The first one's great. The second one's not bad. I don't think I've seen any
There's
other ones
probably
than
like
that.
8 of them now.
No, I think they may have done a third one, which wasn't. I don't think it was even Tony Todd. I think it
Probably
was some other
direct to
guy. And then
video.
they did. I feel like a remake or of
Probably.
some sort. The last like
I
no, they
always
did. I mean, I think it was a remake. They know they didn't. They did a new Candyman the last like 4 or 5 years,
I always
but
there's
I didn't see it. It didn't get a lot of buzz, so I don't think it must have been that good.
I think it's because they came out at similar times. I always get Candyman and Doctor Giggles confused because I think they came out around the same time. One is not
Doctor
as good
Giggles
as
was what? Uh,
he was like an evil
Larry's.
dentist, was it? Yeah, it was.
They only did the one. Like,
Yeah,
I don't think I don't. Well, I
no,
should
they might have done a
pause. Like,
remake
they're
of. There might be a remake of Doctor Giggles.
Larry Drake. Uh, did they do another one?
You know what's the oddest casting that always cracks me up, and I guess like she'll just ignore you if you bring it up. But Jennifer Aniston and Leprechaun.
Oh, that's right. She was in Leprechaun.
I feel Leprechaun is an underrated of the horror movie series.
Mm.
So is Pumpkinhead. I like Pumpkinhead.
Pumpkinhead has. I think like they've made like at least. Well, I know they made at least two. I think they probably made like more
Oh, I
than
think
one.
there's like 5 or 6 of Leprechaun. I think there might be like 3
Oh,
Pumpkinheads.
Leprechaun's been like a while.
Yeah, because I mean I think they even had a Leprechaun in the Hood movie.
They
So
did.
yeah,
They did.
that I
I don't
think
think I saw that one.
no, I've never had the courage to make my way through those.
See, that's I mean, we should have friend of the show Christy Petrillo on because I'm sure he could talk about. But that's back when like they'd have just like all these random. They would do like 8 sequels of a film, of like a horror film that got
Yeah,
any sort of traction, and you would all see these films either direct to video
yeah,
or like late at night on like Cinemax or HBO or Showtime or something like that. Maybe not even HBO. Like maybe HBO is too highbrow. You get Cinemax
and
or the Movie Channel or
Showtime.
Showtime. Yeah, at
Sh-
like 2 in the morning.
yeah. You know what's funny is I just this year, so one year I went through Nightmare on Elm Street and I did Friday the 13th, which I think when it was all said and done, I like Friday the 13th a little more as like a franchise. But
Mm,
I did Halloween this year, and
mm.
Halloween after the second movie, I think the second movie's okay. Halloween gets real bad.
It does. There's actually if you count all of them together, there's way more bad films than good
I think
ones.
so. There's one and two's good. The one anytime they bring Jamie Lee Curtis back, I think it tends to be good. So like one and two, H2O is pretty good. The one from 2018, I think, is pretty good.
Hold on, which is the one? I'm gonna look this up. Was wasn't Buster Rhymes in one of these?
Probably, I think he was 4 or 5, probably.
Because that, let me look. A Halloween Resurrection 2002. Yeah, okay, so the early aughts. Like
Oh, they're still
there was
making
this
them.
whole thing.
Jeez.
Yeah, but I mean there was this whole thing in like the early aughts where you get like, who the person who was popular and you just shove them in your like movie and expect that would carry it, and they were usually like garbage. So it'd be like it's like back in the day, like they did I think Kevin Williamson, he did Scream, like he did that weird sci-fi teen movie called The Faculty, and it's
Oh
like
yeah, I
you have
remember
an
that.
ensemble cast, like here's Elijah Woods, like whatever, and then it's like here's Usher and it's like
Y-
okay, but they did a Halloween one in 2002 with Buster Rhymes, and my wife and I like saw that for some reason, not like the last year, but maybe the last like 5 years. We watched it again for some reason, and it was terrible,
You know
like
what the
absolutely
most
terrible.
you,
It was actually a sequel to HTO.
you know what the most random of those ever was is like, oh, what year was it? Nothing But Trouble having Tupac in it.
Yeah.
I just
Uh,
rewatched. I just watched that recently. It's a terrible movie, but I would like to do it. I would like to do a show on it at some point because it's like, it's kind
that'd
of
be fine.
fascinating and it's like, well, like it has like like the cast in it is like crazy. Like it's the cast is like every like late 80s, early 90s like sitcom. I mean comedy or like romance type person because it has Demi Moore, like Chevy Chase, Dan Aykroyd, John Candy. Um, I can't think of his name. Shit. Oh well. But like it's just like you just see a bunch of faces like, oh yeah, I know who that is. I know who that is.
Mm. I'm looking at the list of Halloween films. Halloween 1 and 2, good.
Yeah,
Halloween 3,
because
Season of the Witch,
two is not
fair.
bad because two is like he follows Jamie Lee Curtis to like the hospital. It's kind of how that one
Yeah,
goes.
1 and
Three
2 are
has the
good.
little brainworm song, but three's not good.
3, I like 3, but it is very polarizing, and they're trying to change it where it's not Michael Myers. They're trying to do like basically an anthology, turn the franchise into like an anthology thing where it's like every movie is going to be like a different, horror movie, just with Halloween being the holiday of Halloween being like the theme. Didn't really work. Again, very polarizing. I like it though because it's weird, and
I
interesting. I like it,
I
but
didn't like the
it's not
bugs. I didn't like the
it's
bugs and
not for
snakes come.
everyone.
I didn't like the bugs and snakes coming out of people.
Yes. Halloween 4, Halloween 5, and
Four
Halloween
and
6,
five,
The Curse of Michael Myers.
4 and 5 are shit,
Not
and
good.
like Donald Pleasance is just like you can tell he's just cashing a check at that point.
Yeah.
He
He's
just
got
yells a
a
lot.
he's got a lake house he needs to pay off probably.
And
Like
he's just
uh
doing the that guy yells.
yeah. Michael. It's like terrible. H2O, like you said, it's like it wasn't bad.
Yeah, because they brought
Uh
her back. They brought her back and they did some stuff with it,
yeah.
and I think she
Halloween
elevates it.
Resurrection. Halloween Resurrection, terrible.
Yeah,
Terrible. Then yeah, the Halloween 1 and 2 in 2007, 2009 that Rob Zombie did,
bad.
which I didn't like. They're not good.
Rob
Uh,
Zombie's made
Rob,
exactly one decent movie.
he's made one good film in Devil's Rejects. It's like he used everything else, and I I thought that after I watched it, I'm like, oh, maybe Rob Zombie has like promise. But then, like, literally every movie he's done, it's just like, all right, I got this idea for a movie. It's like, okay, Rob, all right, we got some crazy villains. It's like, okay, yeah, all right. And they're just all psycho hillbillies. And it's like,
God damn it, again.
okay, well, you did 12 films like that. Do we need a 13th one? It's kind of all repetitive, but
He's like, no, you don't
he made
understand.
Mike Myers
He's like,
a crazy
he's like,
hillbilly.
you don't understand. This time they're cannibals. It's like, oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Did I think they have a bunch of those films too? But it's like, no. It's like, no, they weren't good. But then so you had the 2018 one, Halloween, where they basically that was almost like a soft reboot of the franchise, and it like in this. I don't know if you would consider it like a new timeline or whatever, but it basically is supposed to be after the original Halloween. Like so Halloween 2 and on like never existed in theory in this like timeline, whatever. The 2018 one, my wife and I actually saw it in the theater, and it was great. I thought like it was really good.
Yeah.
And then 3 years later, this is like during COVID
It was
still.
like 2021, wasn't it?
Yeah. They did Halloween Kills, and I think they released it on like Peacock or well, the last one I know they released on Peacock, but they did this one I think on Peacock because it wasn't like people going to theaters because it was still COVID. Um, and I thought that was not good at all. And then the last one, Halloween Ends, terrible,
Oh, I didn't.
terrible.
Yeah. You know what there's really a rash of like good first movie. The sequel sucks. You know which one they really fucked up was when they did It Part 2, and they totally like butchered. Like, okay, so if you've read the book, so what they did with the It movies is so the first movie is the kids, so that one works fine, but then they do the sequel, which is the adult parts, and they don't understand is the adults absence the flashbacks does not work as a story on its own.
Mm. So I saw that 2017 was when the first of the two-parter,
Yeah.
and I think by the time the second part came out, uh, it maybe it was like 2019. It wasn't even like that long after, but for whatever reason, my wife and I never saw it in theaters. We just never saw it. We never saw the second part. But it's funny you mentioned this because right now
That's
on
why I brought it
HBO,
up. I haven't watched it yet, but yeah, that's why I brought it
they're
up.
they're doing they've done a prequel series because it actually so they time jumped this because in the books and in the 1990 like miniseries
Miniseries
that
with
they
Tim
did with Tim
Curry.
Curry, yeah, uh, it was 90 or 91, one of those two
Yeah.
years. But in the book and in the timeline is supposed to be like when they're kids, it was supposed to be like the 50s, I think, or the early 60s. And because it's supposed to like the cycle is every 27 years. So I think it was supposed to be like early 60s. Uh, and then the present day with the adults was like late 80s. In the new movies that they did in like the 2017 and I think 2019 one, uh, they flipped with the time where it's like the 80s was when they were kids, and so they time jumped it so that it's like in the
Yeah.
more modern era, like the 2010s or whatever.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be like the adults, but it Welcome to Derry, they kept that timeline but flipped it to like the pre-cycle from like the losers in 1980s. They flipped it to where this is set in Derry in 1962. And they show flashbacks from the previous two cycles before that. So like in the 30s, and then also like in 1908, I think was like the first one they show.
See, I
But
think that keeps the timeline okay, but I liked the way the book did the timeline. I think worked better, especially like with the racism aspects, because it was like I think it went like 40s, 60s, 80s was the original timeline because because if you don't know, so spoiler, if you haven't read the book, which you should, um so because Stephen King stuff is connected, so there's a cameo from Dick Halloran from The Shining as a
mm,
younger man, and he even shines if you know So if you read the book and you know who he is, he does shine because they're gonna go
Mhm.
someplace, and he's like, no, 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 no. And he's like, no, don't go out that door, go this way. And the people that went out
Yeah.
that door got killed, and they made it out alive. Because what
Mhm.
happens is, it's a flashback, and they go to this place, and it's like the main. I don't remember what they're called now. They're probably in the book, but it's like it is like the main version of the KKK tries to burn the hall down
Yeah.
with what are they called?
The lo
Like
the locate
the
the
KKK.
KKK
Yeah,
equivalent. It's uh,
it's like
you're
the
making me look it
Legion
up.
of like Friends or
It's like
something
the
like that.
Legion of Light Decency or some
Yeah,
bullshit thing like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Like,
But
uh,
but see, why I don't think the movies worked, the new ones, is because like the the adults don't work without the kids, because like part of it is like the adults remembering after all these years, and they like the flashbacks are them like remembering everything and then kind of like finishing it from there. But like the kid stuff is like I would say the meat of the story.
so I've like I haven't seen the second film. I have read a lot about it or heard a lot about it recently because of this prequel series. For what I understand, like how they eventually defeat it, it's different than the 1990 miniseries, which is like overall like it's very dated. Tim Curry does a fantastic acting role in
Yeah,
that.
the memes of
Um,
him in the moon is like all is
yeah, in the book and even in the it's like spoiler, like he has like a kind of a final physical form, and it's like it's more creepy and scary in the even like the cheesy 90 miniseries. But from what I understand, how they defeat it in like the more modern films is that they basically they bully it to death. Like they start calling him names, and then he shrinks into like a little guy, and then they just like rip its heart out. And it's like, are you fucking serious? Like that's how they kill it.
well,
Um,
you can't have him going around having a bunch of 13-year-olds having a gangbang like in the book.
oh no, you can't have that. But uh, I will say this that my wife and I, it's an 8 episode. They may be, if they're doing like a second season, I don't know. But the It Welcome to Dairy show, it's been 8 episodes. My wife and I have watched all seven that they've aired. This weekend is like the finale. It is fucking amazing. It's fantastic. It's a great series. They make Bill Skarsgård like he's back as Pennywise. It is fantastic performance. He is creepy as hell. And this last episode, they do all sorts of like crazy shit with Pennywise that he's legit scary.
So
And I
they
think that
don't
they tried
break
to correct some.
they don't break
Go ahead.
any of like the. So is this meant to be watched with the movies? Because like, but they don't break. Do they? Okay, I have two questions. So is this meant to be watched with the movies? One. Is this meant to
It's in
be
the same
what?
universe. The guy who did the movies is done the show. He's
Okay.
doing the show.
And then is does it break anything? Because a lot of times when they dip into prequels, they break things.
I don't think it breaks anything from what I understand. It's they're trying to do the other thing. I think that the director took some of the complaints of the second movie because there's some things that he's allegedly trying to fix, like on the back end, like
Hmm.
fix where it's like because some people complain like why is Pennywise acting like this in the or why are these flaws in the second film, and this is kind of like allegedly subtly changing it or giving an explanation for that. So it's like it's fixing things. Really,
I would just
it's
think, you know how you fix the second movie? You just be like, oh, it's crazy that we never got that second movie out. Like, I'm sorry about that,
yeah,
guys.
it's like those Matrix films. Like shame they didn't do any sequels. The
Yeah,
original one. Shame they never made any other films than that.
shame they went
You know,
down in
what a
that
shame.
shame they went down that plane with Aaliyah. So
Yeah. Oh well. But the series is great. If you liked, since you mentioned him, uh, not only is Dick Halloran in this series, he's a main character in this series, and he's tied now intricately with like Pennywise because he does some stuff in it, which to me like it was kind of I thought it was innovative because it's like they went a whole different direction that it's not anticipating.
and
Um,
well, I like
and,
I'm a little like there's a little bit of an eyebrow raise. I'm like, no, he is in the book, so he does have like ties to the area. At least at one point in his life, he did.
Mhm. Yeah, it's actually it's a good series. Like it's worth your time
And
watching.
if you don't like to read, there is an audiobook, and Steven Weber reads the audiobook if you want a little. Funnily enough, for Anthony Michael Hall, who plays Dexter, reads Pet Cemetery. He does a really good job.
Oh, really?
If you want to see an Australian man do like a really good like Maine accent, Pet Cemetery
Mm.
is. I like Pet Cemetery, but I tell people don't read it, like because it,
Stephen King. Think of all the like crazy fucked up shit Stephen King
yeah,
has written, and I think he's even on record as saying like it's my most disturbing book.
it
And
is
I think he
because
wrote it. I
because
think he
they
wrote it where he admits like he was very heavily addicted to drugs and alcohol when he wrote it, but it is dark.
because he tells you what's
It,
gonna happen, and then you have to go through like 3/4 of the book before it happens.
oh yeah, but I think we talked about it on the show before. It's like early on a chapter, be like, oh, like this beautiful family with like the mom, dad, like older, like, eldest daughter, like young, like toddler son. It's like they have this beautiful, like they're playing in the park, whatever. The little son, like is laughing and playing, and it's like, and then the chapter ends with like he only had 20 more days to live, and it's like,
Yeah,
what? And he dies horribly, and then it gets worse from there.
yeah.
So.
I think I don't know. I think The Stand is still my favorite Stephen King book.
You know, I've actually never read that book only because it's like 1,000
No, it's
plus
like
pages.
1,200 pages.
Oh,
The
okay. See,
audiobook,
I
hold
just
on, I can tell you. The audiobook
earlier
for
this
it
year,
is the audiobook for it is like I don't think it's 50 hours. I think it's 49 hours. Let's see here. The
that's a lot.
Stand is 47 hours and 47 minutes.
That's a lot. Um, I read the Talisman,
I don't think
which
I've
is the
read
book he
that.
did. That's the book he did in the 80s with Peter Straub. Um, and it was good. Some people that's also polarizing. Some people are like, oh, I hated it. Um, I liked it, but that was like 700 pages. And after I read it, even though I enjoyed it, I was like, there's a lot y'all that have cut out of this. Maybe this should have been more like 500 pages. It's funny though because I've read a lot of Stephen King. I haven't read a lot of Peter Straub, but you can tell who wrote which chapters because they allegedly they like traded off, and I don't think it was quite like Stephen King writes chapter one, then Peter writes two, then three, four. I don't think it's quite like that. But you could tell who does what because there are some ways, like especially when some of the characters are written, um, I'm like that's Stephen King because like sometimes he writes things in a way that characters talk a certain way, especially some of the really wackier characters. I'm like, oh, uh, I'll, again another segue not segue, more like a sidebar. Uh, because again, I like to go on tangents when Chad's not here. But speaking of Peter Straub, also horror writer, he had that whole collaboration with Stephen King. I think they were like friendly. Clearly, they wrote a book together. But this is interesting. We're talking about it. There's a book that Peter Straub wrote in the early '90s called Floating Dragon, which is a really good book. I read that this year. Um, I thought it was riveting. I really, really enjoyed it. It was written at the same time as it. I'll put it this way. I read it first. This was written like at the same time or published even like months before it. I'm not going to say it was like this was written in like 1980 or whatever and then it came out like 8 years later. They happen apparently like chronologically pretty short in time and Stephen King is like, "Oh man, like it's just what a coincidence." But if you read Floating Dragon, it's the same fucking story as it. And it came out technically first. to the point where it's like the main villain is this somewhat demonic entity. It's supposed to be like the psychic ghost of a man who may or may not have been a witch or may not have been a demonic entity. And it keeps, but it's a cycle. It's like he comes alive. It comes back every like 30 years or something to plague this one town. And then when he comes back, like all the town starts dying in horrific ways, just like in It. Like it preys upon. It's like a group of 4 people with psychic abilities are the ones who ultimately conquer the villain. It's like this is fucking this is it. And it's like Stephen King say he wrote this at the same time, but I don't know. It's exactly
Yeah.
the same story. But both books are actually really good in their own right. So
Let's see. I also watched the two. I haven't watched the prequel yet. I watched the two Quiet Place movies.
I've seen all of those. They only did one prequel, right?
Yeah, that came out maybe last year.
My wife
That
and I
was
just
like when
watched
they
that.
first. It's like when they first land in that woman and her cat and like some guy in like New York or something.
Uh, I'm gonna I'm gonna look it up because
I didn't think A Quiet
I
Place
always
2 was quite as good as 1.
uh I
2
liked both.
2 got a
I get what you're
little
saying.
2 got a little ridiculous at times.
It did, but I like that they're kind of trying to do like world building and showing
Yeah,
like a resistance of sorts against the aliens. Uh, Lupita Nyong'o, I may be butchering that in bad pronunciation.
probably,
She was
yeah.
the main star. She was in Day Quiet Place Day One, which is that prequel. It was actually pretty decent. It wasn't. I liked it. I liked it less than the other two Quiet Place movies. The other actor in that was Joseph Quinn, who just played uh he just played Johnny Storm in the Fantastic Four movies, and his big I guess breakout role was when he played Eddie in Eddie Munson in Stranger Things. Like that's when his career kind of blew up, and now he's in a bunch of everything. Like
Already got a
he's in like they're doing a Beatles movie, and he's playing George Harrison. Like he's now a big thing. I guess he's British, I think.
Oh, the new Stranger Things is out. I've not heard good things so far.
My wife and I have not seen that. We want to watch it. It's 8 episodes. They put the first 4 on like Thanksgiving. They're releasing 3 on I think Christmas, and then the final one on New Year's. I like the show. Like I think that they kind of got up their own ass about it. And I saw an interview with the Duffer Brothers who created the show where they were like again kind of up their own ass and being like, "Oh, like I think that people should follow our model. TV shows should follow our model where it's like you don't have to have a TV show a season every year. You can wait 2 3 years in between." And it's like I want Hollywood, do not listen to these assholes because when this show started like 10 years ago, one, I didn't have children. Like they didn't
Yeah.
exist at that point. I was in like an apartment in DC. I didn't have a house. I When they started, the Millie Bobby Brown, the actress who plays like the main character, was like a literal child. Now she's like in her early 20s, got married. She adopted a child. It's like she's a mom now.
Yeah, like
She's married and a mother. It's like it's been a decade. Like and if you count how many episodes the show has done, it's like it's ending. It'll have like I think less than 50 episodes in like 10 years.
yeah.
It's like come on.
And most shows,
I'm
it's also terrible advice because most shows do not have the buy-in to go away for that long. And I mean, I would actually say it's
They don't.
damaged. And the problem I have is like, I mean, I think it's damaged Stranger Things. I mean, other than the lack of quality in some of the seasons, but when you go away for a bunch of times, it's like you come back and like I don't even remember what happened.
Yeah. There's some shows like if it goes away for like 2 3 years, then they need my wife and I have to watch like sometimes, especially on Netflix is actually pretty decent about this, but they'll do like recap videos or they'll just trailer it, and it's like, ah, now I gotta watch it. the recap video at least, because it's like if it's 2 3 years, like I'm not gonna remember like what it was, like what, and if I'm binging the whole season after it's already aired, meaning like the whole show, like let's say I never watched Stranger Things, and now I'm just gonna plow through 5 seasons worth. It's like okay, yeah, whatever. But if I've been watching it like I have for the last decade, I probably am gonna have to watch like a preview because I'm not. It's been like 2 3 years since season 4. Like I don't remember it.
Yeah, like I don't
I don't
remember.
remember it at all.
It's only been 2 years. It was only 2 years between, but like I don't like when Wednesday season 2 came out. I'm like I don't remember what happened in season 1 very much, and I had watched that like it hadn't even been that long since I had watched it.
Yeah, we actually just watched that when it came out this like a couple months ago too. And yeah, that was the same thing. We had to rewatch some of it because I think that wasn't the pandemic, but it came out I think 2023, and then it was like a two three
Yeah,
year
it was like two.
pause
I think it was
because
like 2 years because of the
yeah,
writers.
because the writer and the actor strike. So that was a lot of things were delayed. So we had to watch like, well, what happened? And it's also throwing us off too because it was that amount of time. Some characters looked a lot different, meaning like the little brother, like he was Pugsley. Now he's like a main character in season 2,
See,
and
I like the family
he's now
being
like 6 feet,
yeah.
6.5 feet tall. He like grew up.
I like the family being kind of like separate.
Yeah, they were very heavily in this
And
season too,
I don't
which
like
kind of made sense,
and
but
I don't like Gomez. They needed a better actor for that.
I like the actor, but I
He's
don't
not
think
a
he's
good
right
Gomez.
for the role. Yeah, he wasn't right for the role. Uh, and the problem is like we have like
I mean, he is dumpy. If you
who's
go
it?
back to the original cartoons, like Gomez is kind of dumpy, but
But we have like what's the actor? The original actor, like John Adams? Not
oh
who is it?
yeah, John Aston. It's because it's
John A-
Sean Aston's
John Aston.
Sean
John
it's
Adams.
Sean
John Aston.
Aston's
Yeah,
it's Sean Aston's
yeah,
dad.
yeah. John Aston is like the original, like the TV show Adams
And
Family, and then you had
Raul Julia
Raul
is
Julia.
yeah as
Oh, it
the
was fantastic. So that's like big shoes to fill. So I'm not hating
he's had very limited because I
on
think even when they did the cartoons, John Aston came back and did the voice.
yeah. It's I Wednesday is actually an interesting show. Like I enjoy it. Um and I appreciate kind of the world building they try to do.
Well,
But
they've done a lot of things that other shows of its ilk do that I like. They haven't like tried to put her in a relationship or anything. She's been allowed to have like a platonic friendship with someone. Like uh,
mm,
they would have they would have either like most other shows would have had her like with a boyfriend like almost instantly, or her and the roommate would have been together as an item like pretty quick. And I like that she's allowed to have like platonic friendships, which is like such a rarity now. It's just like, oh, this is
mhm.
nice.
Yeah. Um that might also be like partly like the people behind it or Jenna Ortega too, because I think I had read a story where in the first season there's an like they do like a school dance in the first season. She wears like a dress, whatever. But there's I guess allegedly a scene where she's supposed to like wear a dress, and it's supposed to be like someone, the writer or director or something was like, oh, so now in this you're going to talk about how like you think the dress is so pretty, like the dress, and she was like, no, like that's not how the character would act. She would not be like, oh, like I'm a girly girl, like
Yeah,
oh,
remember
I
they
love the
tried to
dress, like
do a
hee
hit.
hee.
Remember that was part of. Remember they tried to do a hit piece on her around the same time. They tried to do. It came out right after. Oh shit. That they did that hit piece on her right around the time they tried to do the one on Henry Cavill, where like
Mm,
someone on set was trying to say like Henry Cavill was like a sex pest, and people are like, why? Like, well, if we wanted him to take his shirt off, he wanted us to justify it, and he didn't want like people to be on the set. It's like,
mm,
so he's bad because he wants agency over his body.
mm.
But they were trying to say like, and then so that one happened, and then the Jen Ortega one was like, well, she wanted us to like be true to the character. I was like, okay,
Yeah, it's like what's wrong? She,
yeah,
she actually takes it
she
seriously.
was right.
So I like the show. Uh, I find it a little odd because if you saw season 2, like there are points where it's like this is like actually kind of a violent,
It was kind of violent
like
in
dark show.
season one.
Yeah, like a dark, like people die, like people repeatedly. There's a zombie character, like the zombie repeatedly eats people's brains in this one. Like he probably has the highest body count of anyone in the season 2. But
But I mean,
uh,
like the movies and like I mean the TV show couldn't be, but like remember part of the first movie is like they were doing that play and they were fake cutting their arms off and having blood like
yeah,
splatter all over the crowd and stuff. So I mean, like the Adams family's always been kind of violent. That's
yeah,
kind of their thing.
yeah. I will give them credit though. Like it's still they're not going in weird directions because if you ever saw the Sabrina the Teenage Witch show on Netflix, like it went way far afield and just got weird and not
I
good.
they I watched like one episode of that and I wanted to like it and then they just like they were a little too current day with like things they were doing. I'm like this is not a good start. They're going to go weird with this.
They went weird with it. Uh, it wasn't very good. Um,
And I think Wednesday does it right because Wednesday kind of stays divorced from that. Like
mhm,
Wednesday like it exists in its own universe. It's not trying to be like, "Oh, this is modern day whatever." Just with Adam's family. Like it's its own weird thing.
mhm,
I'm not surprised that Sabrina show. I like I said, I tried to watch like one episode. I'm like, this is not good.
mhm. It wasn't good.
Riverdale
Um,
went weird too. Not in the same way, but
oh,
Riverdale.
Riverdale.
Riverdale went weird in
That's a
like a
whole
weird way.
Riverdale that I could. That's a very bizarre show. The last season was probably the most bizarre because it just turned into a weird. They got superpowers for some reason, and they
Oh, I
faced
remember
off
that.
against the
Yeah,
guy. They faced off against the guy who basically was like an XP for the devil. It's like it just was weird, very weird.
Riverdale
By
exciting
the
because you
way,
don't think Riverdale because Riverdale kind of went what like supernatural pretty quickly.
it went like first off, it went into
It was like a murder
we
mystery
started
at
off like
first.
it's like a murder mystery, and then it went into like serial killer stuff, and then it went supernatural, and it's like this. I don't know what y'all are doing with this, but my wife and I watched it. We watched it all the way through. It wasn't good. It got very bad, but it's one of those things. Like partly, it's like, well, I've invested all this time into it. One and
CW.
two, I want to see how crazy it gets, and it got crazy. But
My general experience with CW shows is if you like the first season at all, they will fuck it up in season 2. That has been
mhm,
my general experience with anything CW I've ever seen.
yes. Another weird tangent. Uh, the actor who played Archie in Riverdale, KJ Appa,
Hmm.
he like is also a singer, and he had a band, and he tried to get the band to like blow up, and it didn't. Uh, but in the last like few months, uh, this character who's like a he's almost like a British glam rocker. That's very he has 3 songs out, I guess, and they're all like to me they're very like early 2000s British glam
Hmm.
rock. They're not bad, but it's like this is a weird like genre to be
Is it
like
like someone? It's
doing a
like,
remix.
oh, this guy like was listening to Oasis while he wrote his songs.
It's even beyond Oasis. It's not even Oasis. It's like early 2000s like glam rock pop.
Mm.
Uh but the gimmick is like he's got like big British teeth, like long hair,
Hmm.
and like dressed like all like it's almost like is this a Mighty Boosh bit like you're doing? But uh the name is Mr. Fantasy. And I only know about that because my wife and I, like, they on the Macy's Day Parade, we were watching it because we went to Los Angeles to visit my wife's sister. We're there, like, watching the Macy's Day Parade with our kids on Thanksgiving, sitting around the TV, and we see Mr. Fantasy come out. And the Macy's, by the way, another tangent. The Macy's Day Parade like sucks now. maybe it's been sucking for a while. I know we watched it. It's like it's all like, oh, the floats and the balloons. Like you see, they bring like the float out, and you see that shit. Like, oh, now so and so is gonna sing a song. They come out and they sing for like maybe like 30 seconds, and then it's done, and then it's like more and more commercials, and it's like I thought the whole point was the fucking floats and the balloons.
That's what it was when
And
I
at
was a
any given
kid.
point, at any given point, you see that shit for like 30 seconds, and it boom. Now we're getting like 5 minutes of the host talking and or commercials, and it's like this sucks. But anyway, on one of the floats, it was Mr. Fantasy singing his song and dancing, and my wife and I are like, "What the? Who the fuck is this guy?" So we like my wife was searching, and people are like, "It's KJ Appa from Riverdale. He's doing like a character," and we're like, "What?" And meanwhile, my wife did a deep dive, and she became obsessed with this. And it's totally KJ Appa, and I'm saying it is because he has tattoos like all over his torso and arms, and Mr. Fantasy has videos out there. He's blown up. He's apparently like a big thing on TikTok and Instagram. So he's like developed this following to, I guess, apparently to the point where he has like a float on the Macy's Day Parade, and it's totally KJ Appa because he's like shirtless in one of the videos, and he has tattoos, but it's very distinct tattoos,
Hmm.
and they're on very specific places. So it's like, well, this is clearly it has to be KJ Appa because no one has the same tattoos as his actor in the same location unless they're the creepiest stalker on the planet who's obsessed with this like C-list actor who was on a
Well, I
CW
mean,
show.
maybe the soccer could just offer him a blowjob because he would be a fool not to refuse.
Maybe. But if you want to know what KJ Appa, Archie of Riverdale, is doing, he's apparently like blown up and now has like a second career as this like glam rock character, Mr. Fantasy. And his career is, I guess, doing well with this. Like, I guess, I mean, I don't. It's weird. It's a weird bit, but it's almost like it's like the dudes from Spinal Tap. Like, I know they just did a Spinal Tap sequel
Yeah,
like 40 years later, but it's
with
almost
Elton
like those
John
guys were like
singing.
became more. Yeah, it's like they became more famous as the Spinal Tap guys, and they just tour as the Spinal Tap guys. It's like it's interesting, but
I mean, there's Steel
there you go.
Panther, but I mean, I Steel Panther. It's hard to tell how much of that is gimmick versus how much of that is them. But then they're like super talented musicians, so I think the songs might be the gimmick with Steel Panther. I don't know. I love Steel Panther. They're hilarious. Don't if you don't know who they are, don't listen to them with other people in hearing distance. Actually, just pick an album of theirs and read the names of the songs, and you'll either be repulsed or like totally bought in. Because I think like one of their like just to give you an idea, like there's like one of their names like Asian hookers, and there's like I don't know the name of the song, but there's what the funny one is like it's like a love ballad. He's like talking about how much he loves it. He's like, but I'm sorry, my cock is public property. So that's the kind of stuff you get with them. So let's see, we talked about it. The Frankenstein movie I think is pretty good. It's pretty true to the book, which it's tough to get adaptations that are truish to the book. It has some variances, obviously, but I thought it was pretty good,
I'll
well acted.
I like I like Guillermo del Toro who did it. Um, I'll watch it eventually, but I think that's another film that's like 2.5 hours long. So it's like, well,
It justifies it better.
eventually.
It
Hmm.
justifies that time better than I think Nosferatu. I liked it better than Nosferatu. Um, I will warn you, don't freak out. Like the first part is in subtitles because if they don't speak English, they have subtitles. It's like you start off with like the obviously like the book. You start off on the boat and they speak. I think they're
Yeah,
Russian.
or Norwegian, Scandinavian, something like that.
Yeah, I still need to see Sinners too. I haven't seen Sinners yet. I keep being a slacker.
My wife and I were gonna watch that as part of our Halloween horror stuff, but again, it's like a 2+ hour movie, so we haven't got around to it. We want to see it though. I mean, it just got some Golden Globe nominations. So I mean, many people consider it to be one of the better films of the year.
Yeah,
So
movies are
I do want to
just.
see it.
Movies are too long now, and that's why I don't go to the theater as much because it's like, with previews and stuff, it's like I don't want to be there for 3 hours.
Uh, I saw there's some kind of asshole on Twitter who's like he's made his claim to fame. His gimmick on Twitter, it's like make movies 90 minutes again.
Hmm.
And people are like he's kind of like doing it in a really annoying way, but it's like, well, he kind of has a point. Like,
At
not
least
every film needs to be
comedies.
2.5 hours long. Yeah, it's like there was some I don't know, I don't
There
know the
was
comedies that don't
there was
hold me to it,
some
but there's some
rom
comedy
com
that
I
came out
saw that
last like
was an hour
there was some movie
50.
that came out. Yes, there was some comedy that came out in like the last like 5 years or so that it was like 2 hour over 2 hours, and it's like, what? Why? Like a comedy should pretty much never be more than like an hour 45.
Yeah,
Like, it better be a really special comedy.
I was seeing how long Happy Gilmore 2 was. Happy Gilmore 2 was 118, so yeah, even it was running a little.
That's a little long, but
I thought so. It was. I wouldn't say it was amazing and it wasn't as good as the first one, but I thought it was a competent sequel. Like I was entertained by it,
I haven't
so
seen it.
it's okay.
Uh, one film we did see was Weapons,
Oh, I've
who
heard good
Zach
things.
Gregor's. It's good. I thought the trailer and the preview made it look like way scarier and way creepier than it actually was. It's kind of creepy at points and it's violent at points. Um, it's edging more into like a almost just more like a dark black comedy. Um, and then the reveal of what was happening to me was like it wasn't a letdown because it's a good movie and I liked it, but it was also like mm, I felt like they could. I felt from the trailer they're going to go a different direction than what we got, but it's good. I will say, like, my wife and I also
What's
this
his
year,
other one?
Barbarian.
Okay.
My wife and I also watched that, and Barbarian. To me, I like that better. I thought that was a better movie. Um, there's Barbarian, like there's a lot of setup. It's like that's only like an hour and a half long, maybe a little longer than that. And for the first like 30 minutes, you think it's gonna go one way, and you're
Hmm.
not sure where it's gonna go. But then maybe like halfway through, there's a reveal, and when it happened, my wife literally like screamed and like on the couch next, she's like screaming, like the sweeping your arm to like
Yeah.
grab me. I'm like I didn't scream, but it's like it is a reveal that it's like whoa, and then the film just is it's a good film. It's intense. My wife was also like this. It was so scary because it was just kind of realistic, and it's like, well, there's one aspect that's not realistic at all.
Yeah.
There's a specific villain character that's like not realistic at all, but it was a good movie. I saw
There.
someone say or theorize that Weapons and Barbarian actually exist in the same universe, like it's the same world. Um, which is so is interesting because there's some specific elements in Weapons that are like, that's interesting. If that's because it edges from realistic to somewhat not realistic, at least in terms of like our natural world that we think of. So, but both are good. Both are good films.
Yeah, I have some ideas of movies I want to do next year for the show. Namely, Ed Wood
Mm.
would be one I want to do next year.
Eddie. like it's been like I think college was the last time I saw Ed Wood, so I'd watch it again.
Yeah, it's been I think I saw it around 2010 cuz I think I was on like a big Opie and Anthony um
Mhm.
listening binge and I'm just like god damn it, I got to watch Let's Shoot This Fucker.
Let's shoot this fucker. And
It's a I mean, the quotes are really funny, but it is a good movie. Like I think it's a good biopic. It should have won the Oscar that year, I think.
mm,
I want to do the Monty Python movies at some point.
mm.
It's on my list. Beyond the Mat has been on my list since we started the show. But the one thing you learn
Mm.
about a podcast when you want to talk about wrestling and stuff is you worry like when you're. I mean, and Matt and Shad would say the same thing. Like you get like I don't know, like 12 or 15 episodes, and you're like, oh my god, what are like? Are we gonna have enough stuff to talk about long form for this? And then you realize like that fear was unfounded, and actually the list just gets longer and longer and longer, and you get more stuff you want to
Oh
talk
yeah.
about, and you never run out of things to talk about.
Uh, I mean, I know you've listened to like the Laps fan. Uh, they're still going. Uh, I'm still listening to some of the stuff that they've done from like 10 years ago because their whole thing was like, well, let's just like review all the WrestleManias, and it's like, well, now if we did that, it's like let's review all the WrestleManias. It's like, well, that's literally like 40 plus. If we did,
That's a
one
year.
episode every week,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's a year.
that's we're almost a year's worth of content just on that, and it's like, well, there's WrestleManias, there's Survivor Series, there's Royal Rumble, there's SummerSlam. Just if we just like let's just devote ourselves to that, we'd have enough content just on those big four pay-per-views because they've been going on for like 30 plus years, 40 years. We'd have enough for like years,
Yeah,
like
even if we
like
just
the next several years.
even if we just said we're gonna go
uh,
through and do like the JCP through WCW, we're gonna do the clashes and like the pay per views. It would be probably 3 or 4 years.
yeah, like wrestling is something that unless you're doing a show multiple times a week where you
Yeah.
like burn it more quickly.
Even then,
But
though,
even
like
then,
I
it's like
think
there's so much wrestling content. It's
Brian
like,
and Vinny still like they've been doing almost a daily show for years, and they haven't run out of like old stuff to watch because there's always something. I will say, I think if we were doing a show based on like modern wrestling, I would hate to be doing just a solely modern based one right now because I like just current wrestling's been dry for like 6 months of like anything to like we were eager to talk about um just like some tidbits of drama because like it's been so dull.
yeah. Well, I mean, look, let's just say we just did WWE. How horrible would that be? I know we talked about it on the show more in like a mocking type of thing, but it's like imagine like that's what you're doing. Why would I be happy because I'm reviewing like Survivor or any like of the last year or so of WWE where it's like I'm getting like four, maybe five matches on a pay-per-view.
Yep.
Like, what
And
the
well,
fuck is that shit? Like,
and
again, you don't need to be like, "Hi, I'm Tony Khan. I'm gonna cram 28 matches on this show."
yeah,
It's like you don't need to do that
there's a
for me.
happy medium.
But they're the other extreme where it's like, "Let's do four matches," and it's like, "Fuck you." Like, maybe give me a little more than that.
Well,
Or
then they wonder why.
if you're gonna do four matches, have it be 2 hours, not like a 4 or 5 hour premium live event
Well, then there's
where
no
like
one.
it's gonna be four matches that last like 15 minutes maybe, and then
And
the rest is just ads and entrances and
and
bullshit like
then
that.
no one's over right now because no one like ever like wrestles. Like it's a problem. But I just I couldn't do it because I just kind of gave up this year because their product is so boring and stale. I don't read the recaps
Mm,
anymore. But like there was a time up until I think last year at some point where I would read like the weekly recaps just to keep myself abreast of things because just for the sake of the show. And there would be I would say at least 5 times a year where I'd be reading the recap, and I would have to stop and double check what the date of the article or the recap was because I swear to God it was the same show as the week before.
mhm.
Because that's how repetitive the matches and stuff are. So I mean that's been an issue for me for a while with them. But and no, I mean even if we were honestly like even if we were doing like an AEW show, like I wouldn't want to do that every week. Like I don't know. Like there's just not shit to talk about a lot of the time. I would rather look at old stuff because at least then you can like go off on these weird little tangents. You can like, you know, those always kind of branch off into other weird things and you know, there's been plenty of times we've gone to watch something that we've come back like the next week with like a show we never planned just because something caught our interest. Like that's why I like doing
Yeah.
older stuff. Like the modern stuff I just there's not like a ton to talk, especially this year. Like I think AEW from like January to August, you would have had like a good a good show to talk about things most weeks, but like the last couple months I'm just like, what would you even talk about for like an hour or 90 minutes a week with AEW?
I mean, probably like some of the Death Rider stuff, like coming to a conclusion. The title switch from Hangman to Joe. Like wasn't like a ton of stuff.
I guess you
Uh,
could put Ring of Honor in there just to bloat your talk time, but I don't know.
you could, although there's never really a ton of stuff going on with Ring of Honor.
No. I just that's the tough part is like modern wrestling I don't, especially this year I don't feel like, I mean last year wasn't good either, but like I feel like 2025 was kind of a low point outside of like a couple of promotions.
Yeah.
Because I feel like when we started, there was so much to talk about with modern wrestling because like there was so much indie stuff. There are
hmm
so many names out there. Uh, then you know AEW was starting up, and it was fine for a while. But then like all these other promotions kind of started falling off. Like New Japan tanked themselves.
Yeah, people. There are some like hardcore, I guess, New Japan fans who blame like Tony Khan and AEW, and it's like, no,
They would
like,
already fallen before he poached.
what they blame them because like, yeah, oh, a lot of stars got poached, and it's like, yeah, they did, but
It
I
was already
mean,
bad though. That was my thing with it. Like
it
they,
it was on the downward swing, and some of the guys it's like had nothing to do with AEW. They just injuries or age. Like Tanahashi's retiring in a
yeah,
matter of days, and it's
not
like he's in his mid 40s with his knees are gone,
well. His
beyond
shoulders are
gone.
gone too.
Yeah, he's just fallen apart. Like the wheels haven't just come off. Like they've just everything's fallen apart, and he's still plugging along. Naito, you couldn't come to an agreement on a contract, but it's also like they probably came to him and was like, "We're not going to pay you much because like you got nothing left in the tank either." Like, and what do you want to do? Like, that's not AEW's fault. Like, why? Because they took like Osprey and Okada.
Which that's I mean,
Like,
but they were already, even with Osprey and Okada, they were already falling off a cliff with them still on the roster.
they were already doing that. Someone like Osprey, it's like you're never going to keep him long term. Like the guy, how old is he now? Is he 30 or close to it?
Yeah.
Like he was always a guy who's probably going to go to North America because the style that he worked, like he's not going to be doing that style necessarily at 40. And look, now he's had to have major like neck surgery, but he's never going to be like doing that forever. So he's going to want to be like, let me go cash out
Yeah.
while like, my body can still like put on
Well,
really
and he
good
should
stuff.
though. He That's what I always hated with like ECW fans or like other people. They get mad when
Mm.
like someone signs with like AEW or WWE or WCW back in the days. Like, so you're mad at them because they're going to a place where they're going to earn a good living. Because I mean, we dog on WWE all the time, but like, I don't, I don't begrudge someone on the indies signing with WWE because yeah, that's where the money is. Like they're fucking that up right now. But it's like I always hate when people are like, "Oh, they sold out. They went to WWE." You mean like they want to afford food?
I get what you're saying. Uh, I think there are some valid criticisms though when it's like if AEW didn't exist, like it would make way more sense. But if AEW does exist, and Tony Khan has proven that he will pay people like
Oh no, those people are marks.
a
Like
yeah, a good
the
amount of
Mariah
money, because
Mays and Stephanie Vac here that are like signing for lower deals than what they're getting with
yeah.
AEW. That's mark behavior. Like if
Well, it's Stephanie Vacker. It's on record because she said it. It's like she got a better money deal with AEW, but it's like, oh, but WWE is my dream, so I went with them. And it's like,
yeah, and they
you
probably
not to be all Kevin Nash, but it's like you're a fucking mark.
they she is.
I think
You
Kevin Nash is the other extreme where it's like, "Hey, it's all business. It's like You
I
can
think,
actually care about your craft and be
yeah,
like,
but
I want to
I
actually
think,
having good matches cares about, I care about my art.
but I think
But
Kevin Nash is the healthier attitude to have because, like, because what his thing is like, yeah, like all that stuff is nice, but like I'm not gonna kill myself for free. And I like the Stephanie Vacker thing. Like they probably even lowered the offer. I just think that's Mark behavior, because you could have gone to WWE later. Like you could have proven yourself in AEW and gotten like a bigger money offer. But like I just think that's stupid. Like go where the money is.
she's a mark. And the thing about it, she said something, which again, it could have been in kayfabe, but it was something that some blurb she just said where it's like, uh, it was almost like remember we talked about on the show, like Jay Uso was like, oh, I'm more than just an entrance. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like, well, actually, that's the only thing people give a shit about your entrance. Uh, she gave some sort of thing where it's like, oh, like I'm really dangerous in the ring. Like I'm more than just the devil's kiss, like which is the move that she does where she bounces her ass into people's face. Uh, and that struck me. It's like, this is very Jey Uso common. It's like, I'm more than just like this gooner move that I do.
Yeah.
And it's like, but that's all people in the WWE universe. That's all the fans give a shit about. You're a
Be-
great worker. We know you're a great worker. You took a mark deal to sign with him because it was your dream, and now this is what's become of you. Like,
yeah, yeah.
you
Fan
maybe
base
you go
that
out
only
there and
cares about.
if you're allowed to wrestle like a 20-minute great match with like Io Sky, no one's gonna give a shit about. They're gonna sit there on their hands until you do the gooner move where you're bouncing your ass.
Well,
That's all people fucking care about.
that's kind of WWE in general now. Is it's just like say the line
Yeah.
part. But I no,
Yeah.
but why she's a mark? Why she's a mark is you could have ended up in WWE anyway. But like you, it's the passing up money. Like I wouldn't like like I said, we dog on WWE, but like if AEW is offering you 200,000 and WWE comes in and like, hey, we'll give you $500,000 a year, like you would be fucking stupid to not take the WWE deal. Like you just like at the end of the day, it is a business, and you should go where the money is, barring like some circumstances.
The
Like it.
problem though is that I think a lot of people though, WWE isn't offering them more money.
No, that I mean
Um,
they aren't. I'm saying in like the grander scale of my opinion is you go where
yes.
the money is. But that's also why I also think that's why WWE isn't winning a lot of those like bidding wars, except for people that are like total marks for going there. It's why
Well,
Tony's
and
tended to
the
win
sh-
those.
the really shitty thing that they do, which I think is like people, there are always people who are going to leave to get what they think is better opportunities.
Yeah,
Um, and it is a better opportunity. It depends upon what you want in your career and what stage you are at in your career. Like Motor City Machine Guns, they went with WWE.
I think that was a bad
They
choice
got
on.
like a brief tag title run. No one gives a shit about them in WWE.
Yep,
Like they don't. They're a great tag team. Like highly influential with a lot of people in the
but
industry
they're
right now,
not
especially
like.
younger guys.
I thought that was dumb because they're not for one they're not a WWE team, but like WWE fans do not give a shit about wrestling that isn't
They
WWE.
don't care about them.
The only
They
time
don't.
their online fans will chirp a little bit when they think they're getting some new toy. Like they gave a shit about Jay White for exactly like 2 weeks when they thought he was gonna sign, and then when he ended up in AEW, they never mentioned him again because they don't care about Jay White. They just want to steal other people's toys. Essentially, is like how.
Yeah. Yeah. So in some ways, Motor City Machine Guns, it's like it's a bad fit for WWE. But both guys are in their 40s now,
And they're not working
and
at this
they're
point. They're making money for like not doing anything.
they're making probably good salaries. Would they have made more with Tony? Probably, but they're also thinking long term. It's like, well, they both can probably leverage this into I can get a job as an agent or as a trainer down in NXT and still get like thousands of dollars every year just to train people down at NXT, and that'll be what I'm going to do for like the next like 10 years of my life after I'm done in ring. So
And
that makes sense to them.
and
You're
it's
talking about Pentagon. Pentagon can be like,
and you can the other thing for like when you're old like that for like Motor City Machine Guns is like, yeah, AEW will probably pay you better, but you're gonna have to work for it though. That's the other thing is like you're gonna have to
yeah,
bump and you're gonna get beat up and like probably take, especially them, you're probably gonna get involved in like something that's gonna involve blading. Like I understand that because it's like, well, we can go to WWE and
Yeah,
they'll forget about us and we're gonna work once a month and make decent money. Like so that does
yeah,
make sense. Like and I'm not saying that in a backhanded compliment kind of way. I think when you are 40, that is like a equation you have to have.
yeah. Or we talked about it before, like Pentagon. Pentagon is Pentagon Junior. He he's like 40 or close to it.
41, I think.
Yeah, and it's like, well, all he the joke is like he just wanted to coast, but it's like, yeah, well, he can do that. He probably is getting a good amount of money with his main roster deal,
Selling a
plus
shitload of
all
masks.
sorts of all sorts of money with merch, toys, masks, t-shirts, whatever, and
And let's be
doesn't have
honest,
to work that hard
he's
that often.
and let's be honest too, he's a good fit for WWE. Like he has the charisma
Yes.
for it.
So that's gonna work out. Like
Ray Phoenix, not so
other
much.
guys, like not so much. Other guys like Ricky Saints, Ricky Starks. That's a guy who like I'm sure Tony Khan probably offered him like he probably would have offered him good money to stay, but he wants to be a bigger star. I think the time will tell whether he's actually going to be a star there. I've said before though, it's like what do you consider a star? Because but we've kind of been skewed with the modern era. People will think like, well, if I like this guy, I'm a huge Ricky Starks, Ricky Saints fan. If he doesn't win the world title 28 times, he's been fumbled. It's like back in the day, you'd have guys like in WWF, WWE, or even WCW, NWA, WCW, Jim Crockett Promotions. You'd have guys who were mid carders,
Hmm.
never even sniffed the world title.
That were
Maybe
stars.
like on a random show they would get like a title match. Never would have even been considered. Maybe they would have even been like a mid card title, U.S. title, Intercontinental title. That's as high as they would get. But they were on your TV like every week practically for
Well, there
5
were
years.
guys like, I would say Jericho was a star in WCW when he started doing like, his deal, got Dean Malenko super over. That was over the cruiserweight title. Um,
Yeah.
you know, there's especially in WWE, there's a very much oh, it's so and so's turn that they're very into it. It's how you get people like Jey Uso getting a world title. Um,
Mhm.
you see it in AEW a bit. I avoid the AEW discourse because there's too many grift haters, but then their fan base I think gets a little entitled at times too. Um,
Look, I think Ricky left for what he considers greener pastures. I think he thinks he's going to be a bigger star. Time
I
will tell.
I
I
think
know
he's
he's
gonna
friends
be
with
about the
Cody,
same.
but that's the thing. Like he could be mid card on the main roster and be doing that for like 10 years and make a good amount of money and be perfectly happy. I will say this though, like because it popped up on my feed today because he didn't win the tournament to be John Cena's last opponent. But LA Knight, they just did a thing where it's like, oh, 2020, like WWE propaganda. They basically put out like, oh, 2026 is going to be a big year for LA Knight. And it's like, you've been jerking this dude around for like the last like 3, 4 years on your roster
Hmm.
to the point where at one point you could have had him win the world title from Roman and people would have like fucking exploded. They would have loved it. Now he's just like another guy and he's 43. So it's like, what are you gonna do with Ricky Starks, Ricky
You
Saints,
know
who's
his
like 36? He's not like
his
he's this young 20 something blue chipper.
his TNA world title run I think is 8 years old at this point.
I kind of like LA Knight, but it's like you're not. It's gonna be his year. It's like it's not gonna be his
No,
year.
he's getting old. Like he isn't like an amazing in ring guy, but like his sell by date like I think went already. I don't get
I don't
like
know what
the
they're gonna do.
I don't think like he's amazing, but I don't get like the dedicated hate sphere around him that think he like absolutely sucks because it's like no, he's not like the best, but he doesn't. It's the thing I hate about like online discourse. Um, I really disagree with the flagship guys on him, where it's like, no, like he's not amazing, but he doesn't suck. He's just not like,
Do they think he sucks?
yeah. And it's like, and I agree, like he wasn't gonna stay over, but they could have done more with him. But it's like he's not terrible. He's just kind of average as a wrestler. But
The
there's
the
this weird.
problem in the problem in the WWE is that they put the world title for like 6 months on who was the guy who was part of the Judgment Day?
Oh, Damian Priest.
Damian Priest.
Yeah, no, he
They put like
does.
the world title on him for like 6 months
That belt's never
and
recovered.
no, and he actually I guess he's on SmackDown now, but he
Yeah,
just did like some sort of like match. I think it's like a jobber on like main event. And it was notable because people were like, he has like no heat, like it was like silence and it's like this dude was like your world champion like
he's never been over.
the last like couple of years, and no one gives a shit about him now. And some people are defending it, trying to be like, well, it's because he's on SmackDown. He doesn't
It
have any
was
chemistry with
last
anyone there.
year.
He
It
should be
was.
on Raw.
I'm pretty sure it was last year that he had the title.
And it's like you haven't put the title on LA Knight, and I'm not advocating for him, but it's like he was over. He's still over to some extent. And you never put the title on him, but you put the title on Damian Priest for like 6 months, and it's
Who's
like, look at that.
never
No
been
one gives a
over.
shit.
No, never been over. And
No.
it devalued the title because, like, okay, I'm going to use the flagship even though I disagree with them. They're talking about when Jey Uso was going to win it, and they're like, well, the belt doesn't mean anything because you put it on a geek, and Damian Priest. That's the thing in the
True.
Triple H era, though. You get these people like, I'll use a great example because I talked about it last week because I had this weird rabbit hole with Bronson Reed entrances. He gets nothing. They went to Australia in like August. He didn't even get a pop in Australia where he's from. Like literally he gets nothing. He gets zero. Like they even I'm pretty sure because when he and Braun do their entrances, they do them separate. Like he comes out and then Braun comes out. And I'm pretty sure they do that because they don't want the stink of Bronson like hurting the reaction for Braun.
I don't. We kind of have flirted around with this topic before in the show, but it's like I don't know what they're going to do. Maybe they're just counting on like, well, we just only need like a couple guys, but it's like, what are you going to do? Because like every one of your stars is like 40 and up or close to it. Like even Jey Uso, it's like we clowned on him like with the world title and he was terrible. But it's also like, well, he was over with the fans. Although we've argued it's like, well, is he really over or not?
He
Just his
wasn't.
entrance is over.
Spoilers, he was not.
But in theory, like you've made a star, so might as well put the world title on him. But they've moved him out. Like I don't know if you saw, like they're now it's
He's back
WWE's
with
announcing, oh, the Usos are back to being a
yeah.
tag team. It's like, all right, well, the Jey
Which
Uso experiment has ended.
well, I thought
But it's
that
like, what are you gonna do? Like
I thought
he's
that was
40.
yeah, but I thought
He's
that
40, and that was your new guy to be like your next main event guy. It failed. Now he's back to
I
tag
don't
division.
know
He's
why.
40.
Yeah, I don't know why they did that because like he wasn't good and I don't think he's ever past the entrance, but like they kind of fucked their roster doing that, and I don't know why you put all that effort in just to put them back together. I thought that was dumb.
Oh, because I think that I'm cynical, so I think that it's just leading up to they're gonna have him and Jimmy break up again and
Yeah.
feud, and it's just gonna be more bloodline bullshit.
Well,
But
so then you have Braun, so I think they're gonna have him take the title off of Punk, and I don't think that's a bad choice. Like I think Braun is the best of their prospects, but like they have him in this group that because I was thinking about it. I'm like, okay, I think Braun could work. I think he needs a little more time, but his promos have been pretty good that I've seen so far. But it's like you have him in this group that is just dragging him down though, because he's got Bronson Reed not over, and they're talking about putting Austin Theory with them, who's not over. So it's like you're gonna put this guy.
oh, I saw someone because it's a masked man, right?
Yeah,
And it's Austin Theory, like behind the mask.
yeah.
But
If
there's a ton of
it's physically it is Austin Theory. We don't know if they're going to unveil it as Austin Theory.
exactly, and a lot of people are speculating like this is how they're gonna Jericho's gonna sign with them, and that's how they're gonna bring back Jericho.
I don't
Which
think so.
is something. Well, that's something that they could do. Like I could see it
Yeah, but why are you
happening.
going to bring
But the
him back?
joke,
Why are you going to bring him back as a heel for his nostalgia tour? That's what I think is.
I don't know. But the joke the joke there, the thing that you have to take away from that is that people know it's Austin Theory, and people are theorizing that it needs to be anyone other than Austin Theory because no one wants to see him like be like the guy. And like what a letdown. I mean, I guess it's a very online thing because if like online you're like speculating, oh, it's gonna be this guy, it's gonna be Jericho, it's gonna be whomever. Like when it's revealed it's Austin Theory, you're gonna be like, ah,
I think even the
him.
people at home he's one of those. There's these guys. You see it a lot with like the women at NXT that get this narrative around them that they're good, and then like they never get over because they're not actually good. And like Austin Theory was like one of those guys that like had this narrative for years that like he was gonna like make it. Like Squared Circle on Reddit because they're idiots. Love getting behind like they were big pushers of like Killer Cross. Like no, Killer Cross is actually over, and blah blah blah. People just dog on him and like, oh, you just can't hear the reactions. Like no, he was never over. Like that's why they got rid of him and no one books him. Because they thought like that because they thought that like weird like worked shoot thing he was doing was like gonna get him massively over. And it's like no, it won't because he has to eventually wrestle and then it'll all fall apart when he has to wrestle because he sucks.
So at the E Crow, like I thought I was conspiracy theorying. I was thinking like, oh, they're pulling a fast one, like
Yeah,
he
I thought
wasn't
so
really like
too.
released. Like they're just doing something, and it's like no, it turns out he was actually released. And I think if I had to guess, the issue is like they were going to offer him a new contract, but they didn't want it. They didn't want Scarlett,
Yeah, and I think
and
they were going
so
to
he had
offer
to
him
stand
less
up for his
money.
wife.
Well,
Yeah.
the
Oh,
thing,
oh, for sure they're probably going to offer less money.
the
But
thing you have to realize too, though, is if you offer for him less money and you get rid of Scarlet, like why is it like as much as I dog on him? I'm just speaking on the human level here. Like they were getting rid of his wife and they were probably reducing his pay. Like why is he going to stay for half the money? Because that's essentially what you're doing. Because like it's not just that you might be giving him the same money or reducing his contracts. Like you're taking like his wife's pay away, which is also household income. So like I get why that was an issue.
well, we talked about this before too. Oh, well, it's kind of tied into the whole like Ridge Holland thing, where it's like make better financial decisions. But we also talked about how like Priscilla Kelly was saying, and I think even people like Shotzi who got released, like you can make more money on the indies and doing other things than you can from like the WWE these days. Now,
Shotzi
obviously,
might
not everyone.
Shotzi might have should have taken whatever they offered her so she could keep the medical insurance considering her propensity for damaging herself with her own
True,
stupidity.
but I can also believe it where it's like you could possibly make a little more money if you're Killer Cross. Yeah, maybe you're like, I can make more money doing indie stuff, but you're not going to do that like for the next decade. Like you need to sign with someplace.
Oh,
Whatever. But
Tegan Knox is another one that had that narrative that she was like this big star in the waiting that I never saw, and proven right yet again. I mean, I know her knees were made out of graham crackers, but like I never saw what people saw in her. Like she has no charisma. I just who's some of the other ones like
when we saw like the first Mae Young Classic in like 2018, it was like, ah, she's not bad. But it's like it's now almost a decade since then, and it's been like 2, 3 major knee surgeries.
at least
I don't
two.
care. Like any progress she would have made, like it's been 10 years of not making it. So why should I care anymore? Like, and you're not that good. So
Yeah. But like I think Braun could work, but like you gotta like even the Vision name is dumb. Like they've got to get him out of that group if they want him to work as a champion because like being around Bronson Reed and like Austin Theory, that's not gonna work.
but that's what I'm getting at. Like they're all their guys who are like main event guys are aging out. They're like 40 and up.
Mm-hmm.
Braun Breaker, I think, is like still in his 20s.
Yeah, I think he's like
And it's
26
like,
maybe.
are they just counting on, well, as long as we have like a couple
Yeah, I would say.
guys like Braun Breaker, I think Obafemi is also in his 20s, and another guy. I think that they could make him like the
Yeah,
next
well, I
main
don't.
event
There's
star.
there's a certain characteristic to Obafemi that makes me a little dubious that they were going to give him a proper push
Is
on
it,
top.
if I can be bold, is it melanin? Like that's uh
You would be correct, sir.
that would be a reason why Triple H and Road Dogg and certainly Michael Hayes would not want to push him. But I don't know. Like I think maybe they are. Maybe they just think it like, well, we could have Obafemi and Braun Breaker, and like we'll be good for the next like decade with those guys.
Problem is that
It's like yeah, those guys could work, but it's like you need. I think that what they showed, and this is even going back into like the Attitude Era, like and right now I think it has helped AEW. It's like, oh well, this guy's like out, like Osprey and Swerve. Swerve's like now back, or is in the process of coming back. But it's like, oh, Swerve and Osprey went down, like they're gonna be out for a while.
yeah.
It's like, who cares? Not really, but it's like we still got Moxley, we got Darby, we got Hangman Page, we got Samoa Joe. It's like you have like a litany of guys that you can slot right into the main event. And back in the Attitude Era, it's like, oh, you have Austin Rock. It's like, oh, Austin's injured. Well, we have The Rock, we have Mankind, we
Well,
have Undertaker, we have
remember
Triple H.
they like a good example is the beginning of '99 when they were riding on Austin and Undertaker, and they were both getting injured, so they went to The Rock and Mankind as their program, and they did not lose any steam whatsoever because they had that depth on top. Because like, what would happen if just say like Cody and Roman got hurt tomorrow? Like what? Yeah, Punk. Because
Yeah, Punk.
Cena's gonna be gone after this weekend,
That's true. You have well, you don't have as many faces.
and you've tanked Drew McIntyre. Like Drew McIntyre is not an option anymore.
I was gonna say like I mean, you tanked it, but you have Drew McIntyre.
But they've
I
jobbed him
guess
so much though.
if you need faces, you could be like, well, let's forget about that tag team with Jey Uso. Like, I guess we have Jey Uso
And
as a face.
I would even argue
LA Knight, maybe. Fine.
I would even argue Punk isn't what he was because they spent the whole summer devaluing him.
He's not what he was.
But I mean, like
He wasn't.
they
He hasn't
jobbed.
been for like years.
No, but like I think like the way they handled him in the Cena program, and then the way he
Oh
won the
yeah.
title and got instantly cashed in on like by Seth, like that. I I don't think they realize how much you damage someone when you do that. Like Drew McIntyre never recovered from that when they did that with
They don't
Damian
care.
Priest. I know they don't care, but like it does
They care about the viral moments. Cena literally gave an interview like today in the last like couple of days where he said like, oh, me turning heel there was no plan behind it. It was just a viral moment. It was to get a viral moment to get people talking, which kind of ties in with what The Rock said, where he was like, yeah, we need to like sell tickets, so I helped turn him heel, and it's like that's crazy that in the guy's like retirement year, like you had no plan.
yeah,
You were
it
just like,
has.
just need to get like some social media impressions. It's like, are you fucking serious?
Well, but like I lost my train of thought. What was I gonna say? What were we talking about?
Punk and
Oh, Punk.
devalued.
But you, why that devalues them so much is because I think like part of the allure is seeing that guy win the title, and then you did it and you took it away from him in 30 seconds. Like I think it just there is an intrinsic level of damage that does that you can't undo. It's kind of like how it's also how like Bianca has never quite gotten back to the level she was after Becky came back and beat her in like
Oh
20
no, she hasn't.
seconds. Well, they don't use Bianca either, so. But I think that's gonna do it for this week. Shad should be back next week, so if Shad is back, we're gonna be doing the Hallmark game. So what he's doing is he has prepared a selection of real Hallmark movies, and then he has created a list of fake Hallmark movies, and Matt and I have to have to decide which is which. So thank you for joining us as always. This has been Matt and Brad. I don't know how to say it when I don't have the third one, but thanks for joining us. We appreciate it, and we will catch you next time.